Joining me now from a spacious Edmonton hotel suite where he's preparing to call Oilers Leafs on this network Tuesday night. It's Mike Johnson, our good friend Mike. Marc-André Fleury now stands alone second place all-time in NHL wins as a goaltender. It's absolutely incredible when you think about it. This guy's obviously going to the Hall of Fame. Is there a moment, though, in his career, Mike, that stands out to you particularly?
Well, the moment that stands out most specifically is that diving chest-up save on Nick Lidstrom at the end of the Stanley Cup Final to secure a Stanley Cup victory. That one kind of embodies what Marc-André Fleury was like as a goaltender, right? Like the battle, the athleticism, the unorthodox nature of some of his saves, but finding a way to get it done. And all he ever cared about was winning games. So that's what stands out to me. And the fact that, Jay, he's had about 3 different chapters in this career. And the fact when he went to Vegas, I thought that would be the end of his career, but he was able to kind of recalibrate, win his first Vezina, continue on for several more years, still play really well, still going strong in Minnesota. And he's done it all in an incredibly high stress position with a smile and a joy every single day in a position that probably doesn't lend itself to being happy all the time. And yet he's done that for 20 plus years.
That is such a great point. He's always happy. You don't get that from every goaltender. You know that better than anyone. You played with a bunch of them. Let's talk about Elias Pettersson, Mike. I know the Canucks lost on Monday afternoon, but 15 points in his last 8 games. Like, this guy knows it's a contract year. This is a big ticket about to be signed. And we saw the Nylander deal, 11.5 on the AAV. Where are you seeing this Pettersson deal come? I love to talk to you about contracts. Where do you see this Pettersson deal coming in at if it were to be signed, say, like tomorrow?
So tomorrow, and this is me not rep the player or the team. This is where it's going to end up, Jay. So just take it to the bank. The way he'll be taken to the bank. And I love players playing well, contract years. He's better than William Nylander, plays a more important position than William Nylander, and has done it a little bit more consistently than William Nylander. So Nylander would obviously be the floor. Is he as good as Austin Matthews? No, he hasn't been in his career. He might be a little bit better than him this year, but not in his career. So he's going to be below what Matthews makes. I'm looking a nice, round, clean, 8 years, $100 million. 12.5 a year, right where Connor McDavid makes, just under Nate McKinnon, who he's probably not quite as good as well. But there's a little bit of inflation there in the cap. So I think 8 years, 12.5 is a totally realistic expectation. And if Vancouver doesn't give it to him, 100% there will be several other teams around the NHL that would.
Yes, I would agree with you 100% on that one. You're in Edmonton, as I mentioned, to call Leafs Oilers on TSN Tuesday night. First of all, how cold is it there right now, Mike? And are you just hanging out in that hotel room ordering up Lingnan Chinese food pretty much 24/7 here?
My plan for my visit to Edmonton, which I will say I loved when I did the World Juniors in the summer, it was beautiful. I'm trying to spend 2 days here and not step outside one time. That's my goal.
Okay, fair enough. Edmonton, as you know, incredible streak they're on right now. Winners of 10 straight. And they're like rising up in the West. Like, how much of a threat are they to Vegas and LA now for second or third in the Pacific?
Yeah, don't look now, but they're right there because Vegas has been about a 500 team for the better part of a month and a half. The Kings have had a bit of a struggle the last 10 games. And when you win 10 games in a row, you can make up points pretty quickly. A lot of people around the league, myself included, Jay, had the Edmonton Oilers as a Stanley Cup favorite this year. We know it didn't start out that way, but they are certainly playing that way now. Everything has solidified. They probably have the best line in the entire NHL with Nugent Hopkins and McDavid and Hyman. They still have Draisaitl. Stuart Skinner has gotten better in nets as well and kind of calmed that down. The coaching change has worked wonders. There's a reason why so many people thought that they would be a threat this year. And they still will be a threat this year. I do think if they can get up, get home ice, move out of that wild card position. Because I don't think you want Vancouver if they're going to finish first. And you definitely don't want Winnipeg if they're going to finish first. One of the other matchups is probably preferable for the Oilers. But there is a ton of time to make up the 6, 8, 10 points with several games in hand that they have on both LA and Vegas.
So as hot as Edmonton's been, Toronto's hit a bit of a tailspin here, Mike. And it's not just the fact that they've lost 3 games, but they've lost them despite the fact they've had leads in all those games. There's sort of a general malaise around this team right now. Can you put your finger on what exactly is wrong with Toronto?
It's been that way all year, though, Jay, hasn't it? Like they've won, and early on it was all the overtime games and extra points, but they just haven't looked dominant. Now, they've struggled to a 100-point pace, which is not bad at all, but they just haven't really been able to churn over game after game of really high-level performance, let alone the results that come along with it. You know, I think there is an element of trying to figure out some of the new bodies where they fit. They're trying to find what defense work. We're not even going to go down the road of the fact they're on their third-string goalie, although he's played pretty well at times as well. There's just a lot of question marks and uncertainty for a team that we thought would be pretty locked in. We thought we knew who was going to play with who, what the pairings were going to be, that it was going to be Samsonov being great and Woll being the backup, and so much of that has not worked out. So the good news is they're still in a relatively good spot. Their best players are still incredibly good, but I do think there will be some changes in the personnel, maybe some trades, the defense, as we go forward towards the trade deadline. So the version of the Leafs we see today won't be the version of the Leafs that go to the playoffs.
Oh, now that's spicy. I love when Mike provides the foreshadowing we need for the latter half of the season. Mike, enjoy your time in Edmonton. Stay warm, and we look forward to your call on Tuesday night. And yes, we do have the game right here on TSN in the Leafs region. The Oilers, 10 straight wins. The Leafs, 3 straight losses. Coverage begins at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. But here's the best part. Our show, SportsCenter with Jay Onrait, brought to you by Harvey's, will follow this Leafs-Oilers game. So stay tuned for that.